As most of you probably know, it was announced earlier today as I'm recording this that Colorado will be joining the Big 12 after the 24-25 season,
where they belong,
and joining the conference that they once helped found. So today, I'm going to go into NCAA 14 and see what is the best decision for them. Was it to stay in the Pac-12 or was it to go to the Big 12? Obviously, in real life, it makes more sense to go to the Big 12 because you get more revenue, Pac-12 is dying, yada, yada, yada. But in NCAA 14, we're going to see if it was the best decision. We're going to simulate 10 seasons, one in Big 12, and simulate 10 seasons in the Pac-12, and we will see what brings Colorado the most success. So first, we are going to start off with Colorado in the Big 12. These are updated conferences, so I had Cincinnati, BYU, UCF, and Houston to the Big 12. Colorado makes the divisions uneven, but that's just how it's going to be for now. I think in the future, by the time Colorado gets to the Big 12, maybe they'll have another team with them. Maybe a Utah, maybe creates a bit of a holy war in the Big 12. That's what I hope for at least, but we'll see if that happens. But for now, it looks like Colorado is projected to finish last in their own division. Not a good start. And it looks like they're projected to finish last in the whole entire thing. That's pretty crazy. We're going to see how it plays out, so let's go take a look at that. I was going to jump in about halfway through the season, just kind of update you guys and show how they're doing, but it has been rough sailing for Colorado as they just lose a game against number 4 TCU, which is understandable, but they have lost a lot of bad games. I mean, they lost to Colorado State, so I'm going to show you guys at the end of the season how they did. But I also forgot to mention a couple things. I did update the other conferences as well, so Texas and Oklahoma will be in the SEC in this. And also, if you notice what I said at the beginning, the kind of slight jab, I think Colorado belongs in the Big 12. I also think Texas A&M, Missouri, Nebraska belong in the Big 12, but that's a conversation for another day. But regardless, as this season starts to get to a close, we're seeing Colorado just absolutely struggling here. See if they can get a win over K-State. Absolutely not. I believe they're going to have a really bad record, probably thinking 2 or 3 wins. So let's go check on that. Colorado season is already over. As you can see, they were just absolutely atrocious. 2-10, 1-7 in the conference. Take a look at their schedules. The only wins they had were an overtime win against Georgia Southern and a win at BYU. All the other games, it looked like they were pretty much blown out. Texas Tech, they were pretty close, and Colorado State, but outside of that, it was just an awful first year. They're starting out 2-10. No conference championship game, no bowl game, nothing of significance here for Colorado. So hopefully they can get a better one in year 2. Here we are in year number 2, and Colorado is already projected to be last yet again, but if you look at their overalls, they definitely got a lot better. As last season they're around 81, 83, 81. Now they're 88, 93, and 83. Looking like they can actually compete here in this conference. I don't know why Kansas is projected to win. Don't really know what happened there, but in the Big 12, are they still projected to finish last? They are. I don't suspect them to finish last, but that's what the projections say for now. So let's just jump into the season and see if they can improve on last year's awful performance. Colorado has already made a big jump here in year number 2 as they're 6-6 and 4-4 in the conference, and they're 4th in their own division. Looks like they held their own pretty well. Let's take a look at their schedule. They beat Colorado State but lost to Georgia Southern, so you flip-flop those two. Beat Hawaii, BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, and Kansas. So it looks like they just kind of beat the teams that they should have. Didn't get any wins over good schools, maybe Houston, but just kind of beat who they were supposed to and lost to who they were supposed to. Also, wasn't Kansas supposed to win the Big 12 division? What is going on with them? But overall, 6-6, so they will be bowl eligible. We'll check to see if they made one of those. So Colorado did end up making a bowl game, but they lost it to Rutgers. It looks like in the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl. So unfortunately, it is another losing season for Colorado, but it was still a huge improvement. So they go 6-7 and 4-4. So that's going to upgrade their total record to 8-17 so far. So for the first time in this video, Colorado is not projected to finish last in the Big 12 North Division. And look at their offense. It's a 95 overall. They can definitely make some noise here this year. They have a 90 overall. Much better than a lot of teams in the conference. Well, I guess better than those two. Overall, it looks like they're still projected to finish in the bottom half. Wow, how strong is the South? So 90 overall, but it looks like it's going to be able to hang in the Big 12. I mean, you got TCU projected to win at 88, so maybe Colorado can get a few lucky wins here. Maybe contend for a conference championship in year number 3. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with the Big 12 because we finished the highest that we have in our division and in the conference in total, but we are 4-8 and 3-5, which is just not going to get it done. And right now, it's kind of looked like maybe Colorado should have stayed in the Pac-12. Well, taking a look at the schedule here, we beat Colorado State again, lost to San Jose State. We played the number 1 team in the country, and then lost a couple games straight to West Virginia, Houston, UCF. We got wins at Cincinnati. and wins versus Kansas. So once again, it looks like we're beating the bad teams, but we just can't beat any of the good teams. Another year, another bad prediction for Colorado, as they're projected to finish 5th in their division, which is much worse than the other division on the other side. And it also looks like they kind of regressed a bit too, as their overall is 88, offense 93, and defense is 83, which is just awful. I guess it kind of fits in the Big 12 though. Looking overall, the Big 12, they're projected to finish low, 11th, only above BYU and Kansas. So far, nothing has gone good for Colorado, and with only 2 years left, I'm worried if they're going to do anything this whole video. They're even a 1-star prestige now, so they're obviously not getting any good recruits. Nothing is coming in, and it's just not looking good for the Buffaloes. I am just in so much disbelief right now, as Colorado not only made a huge jump, they're ranked in the top 6. They went 11-1 and 7-1 over the course of the season, and they almost made the playoffs. Looking at their schedule, the only game they lost was to UCF, a game they probably should have won, and they would be in the playoffs right now. This is coming off a year where they just went 4-8 and looked like they were dead in the water. So I have no idea what's causing this Big 12 controversy and just causing this insane run for them. I also am not sure how they didn't play Oklahoma State, as they are in the same division, but it looks like the schedules decided that they weren't going to play each other. But regardless, it's a huge year for Colorado, and they could potentially go out with a Fiesta Bowl win as they will play Stanford. Unfortunately, they were not able to get the win over Stanford, but regardless, they still went 11-2 and had a huge season. Their new overall record is going to end up being 23-27, I believe. But it still sets them up for a great final season, and maybe they can even go to the playoffs and win a national championship. We're in the final year of Colorado being in the Big 12, and the stakes could not be higher. They're starting out the season ranked for the first time, as they're starting the season ranked 21st and projected to finish 2nd in their division. Obviously, it looks like their overalls has dropped, but as we've seen in this video, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Looking at the Big 12 in total, looks like they're projected to finish 3rd, so they have a real shot of winning the Big 12 and maybe even sneaking into playoffs. It was looking like Colorado should definitely stay in the Pac-12, but if they can go on a huge run here, maybe this is the best decision. It was yet again another great year for the Buffaloes as they go undefeated in conference and 10-2 overall. They're going to be in their first conference championship game of the video, and they'll be going against TCU, which I believe they've already beat earlier in the season. Taking a look at their record overall, they lost the first 2 games to Colorado State and Nebraska, and then won out. I don't really know how they lost to Colorado State, seeing as how they're a lot better and they're number 8 in the country. They beat TCU in overtime, so this upcoming game is going to be no slouch for sure. Maybe they can sneak into the playoffs. I highly doubt it, as they are number 8 and you got to be top 4 to get in. But let's just go ahead and see if they can, and they do. They're going to win their conference championship. So unfortunately, Colorado was unable to make the playoffs, but they did beat Florida State in the Orange Bowl to cap off a great tenure here in the Big 12 as they finish the season number 3 and 12-2. In total, that's going to bring their record to 35-29, and then their conference record is going to be 24-17. So it started out really rough, but over the past 2 seasons, it looks like going to the Big 12 was the right decision. Now let's jump to the Pac-12 and see what they can do there. We are in year 1 of Colorado in the Pac-12, and much like how it started with the Big 12, they're projected to finish last in their division and probably the whole conference if I had to guess. And that is true, as they're projected to finish 12th in the conference. So obviously they're not great to start, but hopefully they can maybe get a couple upsets here and there, because every win's going to count when you got to compare it to the Big 12 and how great they finished in the last 2 seasons. So let's go ahead and jump into the season and see how good they do in year number 1. We are in year 1 of Colorado in the Pac-12. And much like how it started with the Big 12, they're projected to finish last in their division and probably the whole conference if I had to guess. And that is true, as they're projected to finish 12th in the conference. So obviously they're not great to start, but hopefully they can maybe get a couple upsets here and there, because every win's going to count when you got to compare it to the Big 12 and how great they finished in the last 2 seasons. So let's go ahead and jump into the season and see how good they do in year number 1. So just like at the start of the Big 12, Colorado is doing terrible in year 1 in the Pac-12. They go 3-9 and 2-7. Let's take a look at their schedule, see what their wins were. They beat Georgia Southern, they beat Stanford, and then they beat Arizona. So all bad teams who had awful years, and then they just got smacked by every single good team they played, including a 0-62 loss to USC and a 14-70 loss to Oregon. So not a great start at all. I would say it's probably on par with the Big 12 season, so maybe they can turn it around and become good later in the years, but right now, it's just not starting off good. Their season is over. So just like last year, Colorado is projected to finish last. But they did make another big jump like they did in year 2 in the Big 12 with a 90 overall, 93 overall offense, and 85 overall defense, which isn't great, but it's still a big jump, and it looks like they'll be able to compete, hopefully a little bit. USC looks really good here, so maybe not. Who knows? Looking at the Pac-12 in total, it looks like they are projected to finish 11th. They are better than Stanford, so you got to take all the small wins you can get at the start here. Hopefully they can make a bigger jump and get better sooner than they did in the Big 12. And hopefully we can see them make the playoffs here at some point in this 5-year run. And in year 2, Colorado has already made a huge jump as they're ranked number 15, and they went 10-2 and 7-2 on the season. Looking at their schedule, they lost to Cal, which is a bad loss, but they end up beating USC. They're USC's only loss. And they beat Oregon, beat UCLA, beat all the ranked teams. They just lost a couple bad games to Cal and Arizona, or else they could be in the playoffs already in year 2. And despite USC being the leader of the Pac-12 South, I believe Colorado is in the conference championship? No, they're not. Okay, I must have been seeing stuff. Forget that. But regardless, it's already a great start for Colorado. And let's see what kind of bowl game they get and see how they can finish off year number 2. Colorado was able to end their season with a big Sugar Bowl win over ECU somehow. So they're going to finish the season number 9 and at 11-2, which is just phenomenal and already a much better start than what they had in the Big 12. If they can maintain this, which is going to be very hard to do, maybe staying in the Pac-12 was the right decision all along. So we're jumping into year 3 here, and Colorado already has huge expectations as they're projected to finish 2nd in the Pac-12 South. They're starting off the season ranked 21st, and if they can knock off USC again, then they might have a shot. Looking at their overalls here, they're pretty decent, 88, 91, and 87. Nothing too special, but as you saw last year, I mean, maybe they don't need that special and they can just keep winning. Looking in the Pac-12 in total, it looks like they're projected to finish 4th, which is still really good. And if they can maintain the level that they've been at, it's going to be a good sign for things to come. So overall, it was a pretty decent season for Colorado as they finished 2nd in their division yet again. They went 8-4 and 6-3 and finished 12th in the country. Obviously, we saw the bowl weeks ago, so maybe they don't finish 12th. But it looks like it was a pretty close race here between USC, Colorado, Utah, and UCLA. So if a couple things go right here in the future, Colorado could definitely take over the Pac-12. Let's take a look at some of their games. Wow, they had a really rough stretch here against Cal, at Michigan, and USC. That's rough. But outside of that, they won all the games they were supposed to. They even beat number 6 Oregon. Their Oregon's only lost. It's the second time they're ruining some team. And they lost another bad game to Arizona. Second time that's happened. But overall, pretty solid year, and it seems like Colorado is just consistently being good here in the Pac-12. Let's check out their bowl game and see how they do there. So unfortunately, Colorado lost to North Carolina in the Orange Bowl. It was their chance at back-to-back New Year's Six bowl wins, but they were just unable to get it done. Regardless, still a pretty good season, as 8-5 is going to push their overall record up to 22-16 for the overall in the Pac-12. So yet again, another year with big expectations for Colorado, as they're starting off the season ranked at number 20, and they're projected to finish 3rd in the conference, or in their division, sorry. But this division is really stacked. There's 5 teams that are ranked here, and any of them could take it. Last year was a really close race, so Colorado could definitely take it. And with only 2 years left, you really gotta hope that they can get at least one, because comparing them to the Big 12, in the Big 12 they had a lot of higher highs and lower lows, but here it's kind of very consistent. But if they can get a conference championship win here, or maybe get close in the top 10, then you gotta think that maybe this is a better 10 year, but right now it's pretty neck and neck. So just another solid year here for Colorado. They're going to finish 2nd in their division for the 3rd straight year, missing out on a conference championship game, but they're number 13 in the nation, 9-3, 6-3. Definitely another good year. Looking at their schedule, they started off really hot. They beat number 5 Cal. They won against USC. They just lost a couple unfortunate games here. Oh wow, this is a gauntlet of a schedule. The Pac-12 is insane. The Pac-12 has the number 1 team, who is UCLA, number 5 Cal, 6 USC, 9 Oregon, 7 Washington, and then Colorado's 13. This is an insane conference. So I guess if Colorado and USC and UCLA didn't leave, like this conference is just to be the best, I guess. But overall, they're going to finish 9-3 on the season. Obviously, you still have the bowl game to go to, so we're going to check how that goes and then recap at the end of the season. Colorado was able to dominate the Las Vegas Bowl against New Mexico. I think they won 62-20. So they're going to finish the season, another 10-win season. They're going to go 10-3. So their overall record is definitely a lot better than what it was in the Big 12. But in the Big 12, I feel like they had just 2 more better seasons. But this Pac-12 10 year is a lot more consistent. So it's kind of the age-old debate of, would you rather be consistently good for a long time or be really good at the cost of being really bad for a while? But we'll see what Year 5 is going to have for us. Maybe we can make it all the way to a playoff, and if so, then Pac-12 tenure is definitely the way to go. Here we are in the final year of the Colorado Sim to see which conference is the best conference for them to be in. Right now, I think it's kind of favoring the Pac-12 because they've just been consistently good. And to start off the season, we are the highest ranked we've ever been entering a season at number 15. Granted, they're projected to finish 3rd in the division, but you've seen it time and time again that this team can definitely hang with the best of them. And their overall stats are the exact same as UCLA, so they could definitely make it here. They're prestigious 5-star, so they're looking for a great season to end their Pac-12 tenure and maybe even make the playoffs. So I don't know what it is, but I guess we have a little bit of plot armor here because we are 8-4, but yet we're number 6 in the country, and we won the division. And luckily, our opponent is number 4 Oregon. So if we win, we can definitely jump up to a top 4 and then make the playoffs in our final year. Which I don't understand how they're number 6 despite being 8-4. Let's take a look at the schedule here. They lost 4 straight games, and yet they're number 6. They lost to San Jose State, which is a terrible loss. Lost to number 20 Stanford, at number 3 Nebraska, and then at number 25 Cal. But yet won out against a weak part of their schedule, and I guess the poll maker said it's good enough for them to be number 6? I don't understand that logic, but if we can beat Oregon, we can be going to the playoffs. So let's just go ahead and sim this game real quick. Well, Colorado finally make the playoffs in the final year of the sim. It was a good run. The plot armor, I guess, died out at the very end. As for the 10th and final season, Colorado will not be in the playoffs, but just fall oh so short. So to close out the sim, Colorado ends the year with a bowl win over Houston. And I do think it's kind of funny that once they lost that game to Oregon, they went from number 6 all the way to 25, which I don't know if I've ever seen a crazy enough drop like that. But regardless, they're going to finish the season 9-5. And I'm going to jump to a screen now, and it's going to show both of the teams' records, their bowl wins, their bowl accomplishments. And you let me know down in the comments what you think was the best tenure. Was it the Big 12 tenure, or was it the Pac-12 tenure, and which one they should have stayed? So this ended up being the final tally for both. The Big 12, they went 35-29, 24-17. They were only able to win one bowl, but it wasn't Year 6 bowl over Florida State. They won their division, and they won a conference championship. And then in the Pac-12, they went 41-24, 28-18, 3 bowl wins, 1 Year 6 bowl, and 1 division win. And they were unable to win their conference championship game. But overall, I think you have to give it to the Pac-12. So obviously, Colorado is really dumb, and they just made a really bad mistake by going to the Big 12 in real life. Thank you all for watching. Please let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know some areas I can improve at, and maybe some areas I did good at. If you're interested in more NCAA football content, I do stream on Twitch. I stream nearly every day. I'm currently in the middle of a random conference dynasty, so if that's something you're interested in, go check me out, BreadKiller068 on Twitch, and I'll be making more NCAA football content in the future. Until next time, I'll see you in the next one.